What's going on, everybody? I'm the BedTuck, and you are the internet, and welcome back to another review. Today is Doctor Strange 2, or Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and I just came back from the showing. Got a late showing on the opening day because only shot I got to it. So obviously this is a lead up to Doctor Strange 1 that came in 2016. It's already been 6 years since that movie came out, which is dumbfounding. And it's also a lead up from No Way Home that came out in December, and Endgame from that. And Far From Home, I guess, would be part of that. But yeah, this one was really hyped up for a lot of people. I wasn't as hyped up. I shared my concerns in the Super Bowl episode of the reactions. Shared my concerns about what could happen with this movie, with the cameos that were all rumored and just everything that was kind of shoved in. I also didn't trust Sam Raimi with it because he's kind of been out of the game for a little bit. I believe this is his first film in 9 years, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, I had a little bit of distrust here coming into this movie. Yeah, so I'm gonna go over a few things before we get into spoiler territory. Obviously, I like this movie. Don't get me wrong, I like this movie. I don't know if I love it though. And I honestly thought this could be the first movie that I loved right off the bat, but I don't know, something's keeping me from loving this movie as much as I want to love this movie, but it's neither here nor there. So let's kind of go into it. So everyone does a good job in this. I don't know if it's great, but they do good. The stand-up for me was Xochitl Gomez, who plays America Chavez, in her first appearance on screen. America Chavez is a newer character that I really enjoy reading. I think they do a really good job with her, especially in this area. But I don't know if they use her to her full potential. It's kind of a basic story arc for her in the film. It's more of a like understanding and like believing in yourself type storyline for her. And I don't think that's the best way to go with her character. From what I remember, it's been a while since I've read her, is that she's very confident in herself, and she's yeah, she has a sense of confidence in her. But in this movie, she's just full of doubt for herself, and that kind of like threw me off. I wasn't exactly a fan for that. But yeah, she's definitely the standout in this film. She definitely does a good job with what she's giving, and it seems like really she kind of has a handle on already this big screen type stuff. Benedict Cumberbatch comes back as Doctor Strange. He does good. I mean, he plays 1, 2, 3. I think 4 different types of Doctor Stranges in this. Everyone's pretty different, but they're all the same. It feels like they have the same mold, and I guess it's part of the film they talk about that. But like nothing stands out for me from that. I mean, he's an actor. He's a trained actor. He's been in this game for a long time. He should be able to play multiple different roles at the same-ish time. And I mean, he does well, so I can't really blame him for that. He does a good job. Benedict Wong, who plays Wong, is a standout in every movie he's in the series, and honestly, if he keeps coming back, I'm gonna keep watching because he's just the best part of these movies, and I love him. He's great. He's great comic humor, and he doesn't overshadow anyone with the comic humor, and he's just kind of a smartass, and I like smartass in comics and in movies. So yeah, I think Benedict Wong does the best performance here. He's not in the movie for very much. He's in there for, I want to say, about 15 minutes of screen time, if I'm not wrong. So that's definitely a plus on his side. Elizabeth Olsen plays Scarlet Witch, who, a little bit of a spoiler here, I guess, but it's not really a spoiler because it's kind of teased throughout this whole marketing campaign, is that she is the villain of the story. I don't like that. Elizabeth Olsen is one of my favorite actresses in Hollywood today, and she's amazing. But the thing is that I don't think Sam Raimi gave her enough to work with. Her motivation is very basic, and it lacks fundamental backing. And the thing with ignorant characters who have the wrong motivation or the wrong path, or they want to do good for themselves or others, but have to go through the wrong path, is that there's some backing to it, that you can see why she wants to do these things. But the thing is that she's been a good guy since 2015, with Age of Ultron is that it's hard to understand why she can't get through her head, even with the Darkhold corrupting her mind, is that she needs to get rid of it and everything. Yeah, and it just doesn't seem like there's a connect there. Maybe that's my issue with this movie, is that why I don't love it is because Elizabeth Olsen's not given enough to do with her character. I mean, she is terrifying, but it's off in some way, and I don't know. I can't pinpoint exactly what's off with it. It feels off to me. That's my personal opinion. I think she does great with what she's given, and maybe it's because I don't like Sam Raimi's directorial style, especially with villains. I believe the only good villain he's done in superheroes is Green Goblin, but that's, again, my personal opinion. And that's another thing with this film. Sam Raimi is coming back for his first Marvel film in 15 years. 15 years since 2007's Spider-Man 3. And everyone thought that they cast him out because he did Spider-Man 3. Even though I really enjoy Spider-Man 3. The thing is that Sam Raimi has been directing since the early 80s with the Evil Dead movies. And I love those movies. They're great. I like the original Spider-Mans. But his directorial style is dated. And not to say that's a bad thing, but it's too dated. It started getting dated starting in the 2010s. I believe he did Oz, the Wonderful and Powerful. Wait a second. Yeah, he did Oz, the Great and Powerful, which everyone did not like that movie. I haven't seen it because why would I want to go see that movie? And there's a reason why no one liked that movie. I don't know if it was Sony's fault. I think it was Sony owns the rights right now. Or it was Sam Raimi's fault. But it seems like it just seems like his style is dated, and it doesn't seem to go well with 2022 audiences. A lot of people are giving this praise, but his style is just weird to me, and it's not great for this time period. Again, I have a lot of respect for him. I love his early movies with The Evil Dead, Drag Me to Hell. He did great with those. But I think it's isolating those movies to where they are. They're great. But here, he's mixing a lot of things that he doesn't know what he's dealing with, and I believe that harms the film in some way. But he does do great. He does a good job. He does a good enough job visually. When you give him, when Kevin Feige and Marvel gave him this film, he requested a lot of things from Marvel, and he requested a lot of control, which makes sense. He dealt with Spider-Man 3, and with Spider-Man 3, he did not like the movie that came out. So when Marvel gave him this opportunity, he wanted to have as much control as possible throughout the filming. Again, it makes perfect sense. And with that, it comes with a very visually dynamic and beautiful film. Just like the lighting is beautiful. And I think this goes against the Russos, as like people are like, the Russos are great directors, and they do good films. The Winter Soldier and Infinity War are some of my favorite films in the MCU, but the thing is that they don't do it visually dynamically, because watch Civil War. That movie is disgustingly dry and gross looking to look at. And with Sam Raimi coming in, and he does a great job as flattering the film's look. And I believe that's something that we really need to move towards with the MCU, is that you need to get away from those grayscale colors that came with Civil War and all those movies. But also step away from all the bright colors with Guardians of the Galaxy. Find a middle ground right there, and then you have a good looking film. And I think that's what Sam Raimi really nailed in this film, was giving a good look to the film. The score by Danny Elfman, I've said this plenty of times, I'll say it again. Danny Elfman does not need to be in Hollywood right now doing Hollywood films. It's very bland, very boring. You've heard it a million times because he's used the same score over and over again. Batman, Spider-Man, it sounds similar because they're made by the same guy, because he can't branch out from there, and I just don't like Danny Elfman doing it. I had my first problem with Danny Elfman was in Justice League, and when he did that, it was terrible. He reused John Williams' score, he reused his own score from the Batman, and it didn't fit there. It doesn't fit here, so I wish that it was a better score, but it's not, and I can't say much besides that, because Danny Elfman just, I don't think he needs to be scoring movies anymore. We need more today. And I believe that's a problem with this film, is that it comes from guys who were really big in the 80s and 90s. And not to say that's a bad thing, because they have great movies and everything like that. It's just, I don't think they know where they're stepping here. And especially with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. Okay. Starting from here, I'm going to start going into spoilers. And start going into the story of Doctor Strange. Okay, so we really start the movie within American Chavez's story right away. The Marvel credits go, and then boom, we're right in it. And it really caught me off guard, because the Marvel credits go down a crescendo, and it stops. But then you're just thrown into this, and it's like loud, erratic music, and it caught me off guard. Besides that, we're following Doctor Strange, a different Doctor Strange, do we know and love, with America Chavez running away from this demon-looking thing, which is also looks really good, and it's really good CGI. Gotta give them points for that. And they run away from this thing, and eventually they get caught up by the monster. And this Doctor Strange is like, fuck it, I'm gonna sacrifice America Chavez. But she's like, fuck that, I'm going to a different universe. She ends up in our universe, or as they call it, the 616 universe, with Doctor Strange and Wong, and the big tentacle monster, which I believe has a name. I can't remember at the current moment. I'll put it somewhere on the screen once I look it up. But it's here where we really get the difference in magic from the first movie and previous movies that Doctor Strange has featured in versus this one. You can see a lot more and get what is coming through the symbols on the screen, and I believe that's a good spice of what they did here, because we're just all used to the boom boom thing kind of, it never told us what it's supposed to do, and we never got the sense of what's happening per se before it happens. It doesn't give us that sense of, oh, I can make sense of what's happening. I don't have to wait for it. I think that's a really positive thing that they did here, and they did all around. And they changed. They had this Green Lantern or lightsaber type colors with some magic, and I think that's a really good idea. And did really well with that, especially with Doctor Strange having that yellow, orangish magic, and Scarlet Witch having that red magic. It differentiates itself within those and gives us a lot more variety. So yeah, but that ends up in the other Doctor Strange's death when he comes to the portal. They bury him, whatever. And they figure out that America Chavez is in multiverse of travel, which is her main power. Yeah, and they begin to doubt her and everything like that. Because, well, when you come with the multiverse, you gotta ask questions. Which is fine in dating, especially after No Way Home, which turns out did not break the reality that we're like the multiverse. What happened with the multiverse is that Kevin Feige previously said in an interview right before the film came out was that what Loki and Sylvie did in Loki ended up breaking it, and it offered the chance to break the reality with No Way Home. They contained that. This movie kind of comes in place. I think that's also a different thing with this, is it doesn't pick up right after No Way Home, which I think would have been beneficial, but it wasn't always needed. But I understand why they went with that. But America Chavez was supposed to show up in No Way Home, so I think that's interesting that they could have definitely tied these together if No Way Home went that way. So Doctor Strange goes over to Wanda to figure out how to deal with the multiverse and this demon-looking thing that was attacking America Chavez before she came here. And she goes to Wanda. She's picking she's doing these apple tree looking things. It's a very beautiful area, honestly. Eventually, Wanda subs up and she says America's name, even though Stephen had never said it to her, and reveals that she's been corrupted by the Darkhold, and this whole area is full of dark and magic energy. I don't know what I don't know. The Darkhold thing doesn't sit well with me. I thought it'd be more of Wanda has dark magic, but she's not corrupted by it because she's good side, whatever. But yeah, and so Stephen accidentally tells where America is. She's in it's a temple that was in Doctor Strange 1, and eventually she comes in. She kills a bunch of people. Blah blah blah. Stephen and America. Well, eventually America accidentally opens a portal and sends Stephen and America through there. and they get to this super futuristic thing after a large montage of going through a bunch of things, which I really thought we were going to see more of that, of jumping through multiverses, but we do two-ish jumps through it. Yeah, we do two-ish jumps. And honestly, when you see Multiverse of Madness, I need to see more universes, honestly. So yeah, they jump into this universe. I'm probably skipping a lot of things because I just came home from the theater and I'm tired. They run into Mordo, Baron Mordo, who was from the first film, but this is not the same Baron Mordo. So that cliffhanger from the first movie doesn't like really stay here. It doesn't Silver Point, which I don't know if that was a thing with Scott Derrickson leaving, and they just kind of dropped that, or if it was something else. So they run to Mordo. Mordo's like, "Oh, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme here." Blah blah blah. They start talking about how to get rid of the Darkhold because they want to save Wanda at the same time as save Chavez and the rest of the multiverse. Again, makes sense. The thing is that Mordo fucking refuses them. No, not refuse. Basically gives them like a knockout pill in their drinks that they were drinking, and they're caught into these boxes of some sort. And we finally meet Christine Palmer. We meet her at the beginning of the film, but this is where she really becomes into the film as a proper character. And she works for this group called the Baxter Company. Now, if you know anything about the Baxter Company, you know where I'm going with this. She also serves over the Illuminati, who has a bad history with their Doctor Strange. It was never told to us before then that they were like Doctor Strange was a big thing. I guess and there was a statue though, but so eventually Mordo takes Strange out to go meet the Illuminati. Mordo escorts Doctor Strange to meet the Illuminati, which I thought was probably going to be like Superior Iron Man. We're going to get Professor X because I remember that from the trailer. Mordo, maybe a Black Panther, maybe a Neymar tease. No. We get a lot of things here. So stick with me here, and I'm definitely deep into spoilers here, so if you're not gone, get the fuck out of here. So we're revealed to Black Bolt, which Black Bolt was in the Human show, but I don't know if it's the same Black Bolt or not. It's odd. I just didn't think they'd bring Black Bolt because they really didn't like doing the Humans. Kevin Feige didn't think that are interesting. I mean, Black Bolt's a completely different character, but still. I mean, it was good to see him. I just didn't expect it. We see Captain Britain, not Captain Britain. Yeah, Captain Britain, played by Haley Atwell, who was Peggy Carter, which we first saw that character show up in the first episode of What If. So that's interesting. Didn't think we were going to see Haley Atwell. I didn't think they were going to like bring her in. I just thought they were just going to like kind of do that. But they did release on Twitter that she was there, or at least Captain Britain was there, in some promotional teases. So again, I don't know why Marvel was spoiled a large part of this film by themselves, even though they said don't spoil it. But whatever. We also find Captain Marvel, who is Monica Rambeau, which was interesting. I don't know how the connection works there, but she was there, and she's in this nice black suit, which really looked really nice compared to like the red and blue Captain Marvel, and it just looked really nice. It was the silver accents. It was a really nice costume. Just saying. And then the big banger that was massive when I first saw it in theaters. I heard something about it, but I didn't believe it. I thought someone was bullshitting me. John Krasinski shows up as Dr. Reed Richards. Now, remember when I said the Baxter Building? Yeah. We get our first taste of the Fantastic Four in this film. Hope John Krasinski comes back for the actual Fantastic Four movie, because honestly he does great in this. The suit looks really nice. I really love that suit. And the stretch stuff, I mean, there's a small bit of it, but it looks good. And then finally we're revealed to Professor X. We all know and love, but it's not the Professor X we know from the X-Men films. It's the Professor X from the cartoon. We know this through the chair that he's sitting in and the sting when he comes in with the 97. Honestly, that lineup is amazing and great and awesome. It doesn't overshadow even. Not that it really doesn't overshadow much. So I'm kind of impressed how they dealt with that. Not overshadowing the main characters or anything. It kind of just showed them. But Wanda has done this thing called dream walking, because apparently dreams are used into our multiverse selves, where she goes into that Wanda's universe after taking Wong to this temple that's dedicated to her, with these big ass giant monsters who are fucking awesome. But yeah, she dream walks into this, and she fucking murks the place. All these Ultron bots are coming at her. She's murking the place, and then finally, the Illuminati goes to stop her. And this is when the movie turns from PG-13 to borderline R. Honestly, this movie is a horror movie. I will go into more of the horror stuff later or earlier, whatever time I put that in. But she fucking murks the place. Reed is like, Wanda, you gotta stop because Black Bolt here will fucking whoop the shit out of you by just whispering. And she's like, what mouth? And I'm fucking sitting here like, what the fuck is she talking about? Like did she sew his mouth like through her mind or whatever? There's no mouth. The thing is that I thought, oh, okay, that means like there's like no way for him to talk, like neutralize the threat. No, he can fucking talk. Because he whispers. The thing is that the sound can't go out. So he blows part of his head open. I don't know how the fuck they got away with that part. But yeah, they did. So Reed starts attacking her. The thing is that Wanda doesn't give a shit. So she fucking shreds him up and it's gone. Just out. Yeah. This is all her going after America Chavez. I forgot to mention that. So the big fight happens between Captain Britain, Captain Marvel, and versus Wanda. And the thing is that Wanda cuts Captain Britain in half with the fucking shield. Again, I mean, they don't really show much of it. They just show her flopping over. We get the point because we saw the shield go like on the other side of her with blood coming down. Again, Marvel's very tame with that shit. The decapitation of Thanos and Endgame was very tame compared to this shit. Again, I don't know how the fuck they got away with half this shit. And then versus Captain Marvel, she blows up Captain Marvel and whatever. Fucking Wanda goes into Professor X's brain and fucking just gives him like a stroke or something and kills him. And very dark again. No, she doesn't do that. Oh my gosh, she doesn't do that. No, so she goes into Professor X's brain, and Professor X is like, I'll save you, Wanda, the Wanda that she's possessing. And he tries to grab her, and then all of a sudden you see her pop up, and she snaps his neck. And again, Marvel, very tame for like whatever they do. That's not tame shit, but I guess so. They're like, cool, yeah. I thought it was badass. It's pretty awesome. And earlier in the temple raid scene, she's trying to affect these people's mind. Everyone's like, okay, cool. This one guy ain't having that shit. He can't fortify his mind. So she's like, she appears behind him and she goes, run. It's fucking creepy as shit. And but at this point, America Chavez is actually starting to hone her power, so she gets out with Christine Palmer and starts running. They find Doctor Strange, who's already fighting with Baron Mardo, where we find out actually what happened to their Doctor Strange. That he got a hold of the Darkhold and he went mad and crazy, and so what they had to do was mercy kill him and whatever. So they do that, and Mordo's like, man, now I get why everyone hates Doctor Strange in every universe. Yeah, and we don't see Mordo anymore after that. He just kind of disappears again. But they escape, and Wanda's creeping by. She's half bloodied, and she's limping, and she's got this weird. She looks like a fucking Deadite from Evil Dead, and it's fucking creepy as shit. And she's just walking by, creeping, and it's like Elizabeth also did a great job with that scene, especially. Creepy as fuck. And then she appears in the shadows after they close this big ass door. I don't know why she didn't break through like she broke out through the rest of the doors because she's ultra powerful. They flood the room because they're under the river. And this is where like we begin the scene of like where they get this book that the original Doctor Strange we start the movie off with went after before he died. But Wanda burns the shit out of it. And then they get sent through another portal, Christine Palmer and Doctor Strange. And they end up in the world, I believe, for the Doctor Strange in the What If episode. I'm not completely sure. Not completely sure about that, but yeah. He gets their Darkhold, and he uses the dream walking thing to get into the Doctor Strange that was dead in the original universe, to dreamwalk through the zombie Doctor Strange. Which again, the makeup here is fantastic and disgusting. Marvel, how'd you get away with a PG-13 rating? That's my question to this whole movie was how the fuck did they get away with a PG-13 rating? Yeah, here or there. So he starts using this dark magic type of thing. He like starts defeating Wanda with the dark because she can't. Apparently she's overwhelmed by it, which I really don't get because she's like the most powerful witch in the world, but they treat her in this movie like she's not, and I don't understand it. And then she collapses the castle on herself. No. America Chavez breaks out of the thing because Doctor Strange let her go, and the zombie Doctor Strange starts dying because Wanda has beaten the shit out of him, and America starts beating the shit out of her, but like Wanda's like, fuck no, I'm not gonna let you beat me, and then America opens a portal to the universe that Wanda had dreamwalked in, to show her how the boys would react to her being the parents, because what she wanted to do in the whole film was take care of the Darkhold and then transfer to universes to be a mother to her boys, which is all fine and dandy, but she had to murder Wanda. So she brings her to this universe, and she's like, oh, my boys hate me because of what I am. And then that's what clears her mind. So she wants to get rid of the Darkhold, so she tries to collapse the castle on herself, which she does, and I guess she's dead, which I think is stupid. I think we really need to bring Wanda back for her own movie, or just in general, she needs to be like this galactic multiverse threat, I think. If not, because I think that's stupid. Honestly, I think that's just dumb. To just use her for one film as a villain and then never use her again. I believe she signed a 7-year deal too, so she's locked into like 2029. And I really don't know what they're going to do with Wanda here. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So they eventually get back to their own universe. After America goes to the universe that Strange is at, and brings both of them back to their own universes. And then Strange has this weird headache, really bad headache, and then the third eye that was in the Darkhold Strange pops out, and we're like, oh shit. I mean, it's good, whatever. I don't know the problem with that. I mean, I haven't watched What If, so I really don't know why that matters so much. But in the after credits, it's shown that we find this magic user, which I did not know who it was. It's Charlize Theron, I know that. Who's like, you created this issue. You need to come fix it, unless you're scared. And he's like, fuck no, I'm not. And the third eye pops out, which I don't. If that's how it is, then the third eye isn't a bad thing at all. It's something to be used. Which I just don't get it. But yeah, this movie, it's missing something, and I don't know exactly what. And I really don't know. It is a horror movie, and like I'm a big horror geek, and this thing scared the shit out of me. And I was like, this is not tame for PG-13. There's just one point in the temple raid scene that she pops out of this mirror-looking thing, and he's a fucking exorcist, like body turn, like creepy ass motherfucker. And like, no fucking kid's gonna watch that and not have nightmares. That's some Ring type shit. She's popping out puddles and grabbing people and just dragging them down. Like I said, with the scene where she looks like a deadite, she's fucking ripping people open. She's like, it's fucking wild. This movie is not tame at all. This is a very dark movie. It's a horror movie, I think, as its second genre, and it does really well. I like this movie. I just don't know what's keeping me from loving it. And I don't know if it's Sam Raimi directing it, if it's the storyline, if it's how they dealt with certain characters. I don't know, but there's something keeping me from it, and I can't really answer what that is. But yeah, I liked it. It's good. It's a good movie. I can recognize that it's a good, if not great, movie, and I like it a lot. Just don't love it. And again, make your own opinions, obviously, because we don't know what this is going to lead into. It might be sneaking at Secret Wars. It might be doing something else. I don't know. The Marvel Universe seems that it doesn't have a direct. All it wants to go is the multiverse. We can recognize that it's going into the multiverse style, but my concern is that they're going into the multiverse just to make it one universe again. Which, if they really wanted that, just don't bring in the other universe then. I don't think they have an objective just yet. I think they want something to do with it. It might be Kang. I don't know. We'll see with Ant-Man and the Wasp about Quantumania. But yeah, it was good, if not great. Go watch it. Think for yourself as well. But yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. I'm Bedek and you are the internet, and that was the video. Go see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in your theaters everywhere at the current moment. And have a good night.